Being a landlord is exciting. I love being a landlord. In fact, I've been a landlord for over 17 years. I've had my property management company for 25. My name is Danielle Brooks. I'm the owner of Beyond Property Management. Being a landlord has its pros and cons, but at the end of the day, the goal is to build our legacy for our loved ones, our legacy for our children, and be able to have a comfortable retirement at the end. And in my personal opinion, real estate is the best avenue for it. However, if you don't treat it like a business, that is, in my opinion, the most costly mistake you can make. Owning your property, whether you live there now or you're a first-time landlord or a seasoned real estate investor, you have to treat it like a business because it is a business. You are the CEO of 123 Ash Tree. This is your asset. Don't make it a liability. I have 6 different property management companies that manage 6 different of my assets because I understand this. Even though I have a property management company, I have a 6-plex that's 3 hours away. I have boots on the ground property management company that manages that asset because they know the latest laws of that area. They're able to get to that property if there is that flood leak right away. They have their network of preferred vendors. You do not want to take shortcuts when you own your rental property. You need to treat it like a business. So in my personal opinion, always hire a CFO, meaning somebody that's a professional to manage your asset. That is most important. In my personal opinion, if you don't screen the applications, it could cost you thousands. Don't go off, oh, they're really nice, or they're in my daughter's school, so therefore I should rent to them, or they're military, so therefore they have no negative towards them. That's not the case. You have to screen your applicants. Credit check, criminal check. Be careful with criminal checks and what you can and cannot do. Eviction check. They have an eviction automatic denial, right? Any open judgments. Do they make 3 times the amount of rent? What you do for one, you do for all. So make sure you are abiding to fair housing, that you're screening the applications thoroughly. Make sure that when you're doing a move-in inspection, that you're taking several hundred photos of the property. You do not want to have if and then when the resident moves out. Oh, well, that screen was ripped at move-in, so therefore I can't be charged because that screen was ripped at move-in. Here's the proof. You have that photo showing that screen was not ripped at move-in. You have that documentation when you did that yearly inspection that the screen was not ripped at move-in. So therefore, you can charge the resident for that ripped screen minus normal wear and tear. Remember, there's shelf life. You can't just go apples for apples when a resident moves out. So if it's a screen, maybe the shelf life of that screen is 10 years and that screen is over 10 years old, you can't charge that resident for the screen because it's already in the sun and dilapidating. But if it was purpose, like their dog, scratched it and there was a huge thing, you could charge for the repair. But if it's, just normal wear and tear, you can't charge them for that screen. So that documentation at the move-in inspection is super, super important. You need to have the before, the after, and the repair photo for security deposits. A judge needs to see the facts. They don't want hearsay or because they were nice or I was just doing this because of XYZ. They want to see written documentation. So a huge mistake landlords make is they don't document. Document. You want to be ready for when you meet that judge, if and when that time comes. You need to take away the emotion because this is a business. Obviously, you want to be empathetic, but if rent's due on the 3rd and they don't pay by the 3rd, you charge them a late fee because you abide to the legal binding lease. You have to treat it like a business, and the goal is cohesiveness. We're still creating win-alls. We want to provide that habitable home for our residents. I don't use tenants, I say residents because they are residents. In my opinion, tenants have a negative connotation. So we provide that habitable home for our residents. And with that, as a landlord, we are having residents that stay for a long time. I'm increasing their rent maybe on a yearly or every other year basis. I might not make it to market rent. Maybe I'll keep it $100 or $200 less than market rent because I want that resident to stay for a while. I want to create that win-all. I'm doing those yearly inspections. When I'm getting a maintenance request, the resident's submitting that maintenance request in writing versus giving a phone call that's not recorded. So it could be he said, she said. I told the landlord that the roof was leaking, and it's not my fault that black mold formed because I told the resident that, or I told the landlord that it was leaking. He said, she said is not fun. So you need to make sure that you document. So using a professional management company, careful screening, abiding to fair housing, using your lease as the go-to manual, and document. Those are the top 5 things that I highly recommend every landlord do on every occasion because you want to stay out of court. It's not worth it.